Welcome to Adventure Gear TV. Today we have the DJI Power 2000, and it is not your typical power station. It is a brand new standalone 2 kilowatt hour beast designed to handle 99% of your off-grid needs with 3,000 watts of continuous output. But the real question is, does it have the guts to handle your professional setting on Monday and then transition to an off-grid expedition on Friday? Let's plug in and find out. But before you even think about throwing this in the trunk of your car and heading out, can you even lift it? The handles are robust and they feel great, which is crucial for this design. And the DJI Power 2000 weighs in at around 50 pounds. It's 13.5 inches tall, around 17.5 inches wide, and just under 9 inches deep. Oh, so it's not exactly a featherweight, but that's the price you pay for this much power in one box. Hey guys, future me back during testing. I just wanted to give you a heads up that DJI sent the Power 2000 for a test and review. That being said, they have no control over the content in the video. I just simply love testing out these electronics. And to optimize portability, DJI put all of the outlets on the front. Having all the connections on one side allows this thing to easily slide into almost any configuration. DJI did not hold back on functionality. The Power 2000 has a 3,000 watt continuous TT30R 30 amp style outlet and 3 120 volt wall style outlets. I am thrilled to test that 3,000 watt output later today to find out its true capabilities. And shifting over to the direct current side, USBs are abundant. You've got 2 65 watt and 2 massive 140 watt USBs, along with 4 24 watt USB old school style USB-A's. And these 2 SDC ports right here are exactly when you realize that you are with a DJI product. SDC stands for Smart Direct Current, and these are your portal to efficiently charging a wide array of unique accessories. DJI has an 1800 watt smart car charger, which can charge the Power 2000 from 0% to 100% in just around 90 minutes. They also have a 12 volt style old school car outlet. They've got solar panel adapters, and then the number one thing that a lot of folks love about this is those special drone charger connectors. Using the SDC Smart Drone Charger can be one of the fastest ways to recharge your drone's battery, decreasing wait times between flights. Now, those SDC Smart Chargers are also my only true gripe with the Power 2000. DJI has mastered the art of making customizable packages, and on the one hand, you can tailor the accessories specific to your needs. But on the other hand, you do have to have those connectors. If you do buy them after initial purchase, they might cost a little more. And then if you lose them, you'll have to rebuy them. The balance is you pay a little more for those connectors. You get a cheaper power station if you don't need them. And my final note on that topic is there are only 2 of these ports. If you want to charge this with that smart charger and use the 12 volt outlet at the same time, you can only use those 2 devices. If you want to then go and use that drone charger, then you will have to choose which one of those is the higher priority. And overall, these SDC connectors can lead to a greater user experience. DJI made some pretty bold claims with that 3,000 watts of continuous output from that TT30R RV style outlet. I just so happen to have a 110 or a 120 volt adapter that will plug right into this output. And what I want to do is test this thing to maximum failure. And to start this off, I'm going to put a little bit of water in this coffee maker. One thing I love to do with any power station that I use out while I'm camping is I absolutely love to make a cup of coffee. It is starting to rain pretty hard out here. I have everything set up, but what I want to do, I've got my cup, I've got my mug, and I've got my coffee maker. First, I do have to turn on. This is a slightly inconspicuous button for the AC inverter. It does say AC on it, but you don't see it until it's on. I'm simply gonna shut the lid and press brew. The coffee maker does pull a little power to move the water into the boiler. Now that the water is boiling, I'm pulling just under 2,000 watts, so nowhere even close to that 3,000 watts max. So let's go ahead and get this microwave going. Water boiling, microwave going, not a problem at all. I was in a rush because this thing was working so well. I went and pulled out this hot plate. Everything at that level, around 2,200 watts, worked flawlessly. This hot plate can pull up to 1800 watts, and then once I get that going pretty steady, I'm gonna add another batch of coffee to the mix and see if I can blow that 30 amp socket. Very quickly, I got everything set up. The rain is starting to come down pretty hard. Let me get this thing started. A little less than expected at 1420 watts. Let's pump up the microwave. Microwave and hot plate running at about 2400 watts exactly. Now it's time to brew that cup of coffee. And I want to see how long will the AC inverter run at that super spiked close to 4000 watt load. So for about 5 seconds, I ran this at 3500 watts. It did run that 3500 watts for that short amount of time, which for me is impressive. But the most important thing I want to show you is if I want to reset that AC inverter, start over again with a lower load, I'm just going to turn that thing off. Let me go ahead and see if I just hit that button. Will it start back up? And we are good to go, ready for another round. What I want to try, just this hot plate with the coffee maker, which should bring me close to 3000. This thing is pulling a steady 2600 watts. Unfortunately, I don't have a 400 watt device to put myself smack onto that 300 watt load. The most impressive thing so far about this testing is I have brewed just now 2 cups of coffee. I had some shenanigans with the microwave, I had some shenanigans with the hot plate, and with all of that happening, I'm still at 96%. Actually, before we go in, I want to try one more thing. This is our 3000 watt output. What I want to see is, can these 120 volt wall style outlets also run at least that 2400 watts? And so right now we're smack on 2400 watts. The only way I would be able to find out if we could go above that is if I swap over to the coffee maker, brew one more cup of coffee, run that with the hot plate. I think I have to try that, because if I give up now, I'm gonna be satisfied with 2400 watts, knowing that this AC inverter can run that load probably for the entire duration of the battery. Now I'm pulling 2600 watts, which means if this power station can run that 2600 watt load off of the 120 style outlets, then it is an absolute win for this portable power station. Now that I'm satisfied with that, and I've got my third brew of coffee and I'm at 90%, let's head into the studio and do the rest of the testing. And if you haven't done so already, this would be a great time to hit that thumbs up button. I love doing these outdoor style reviews, but it is honestly raining pretty hard, so I'm gonna have to run to get into the studio to finish this test. We're about 2 minutes into the battery rundown test. I reset everything, got that to a 100% fully topped off state of charge. Using this heat gun, I've got a 440 watt plus or minus load. And now I'm just gonna let this run and find out exactly how much power I can get from the DJI Power 2000. The Power 2000 ran for 3 hours and 41 minutes at 440 watts, returning 1,664 watt hours for a total of about 81% of conversion efficiency. To put that in perspective, on the low side, I would expect about 75%, and on the absolute high side, I would expect 90%. So 81% is kind of right there in the middle. And folks, I need you to listen up really carefully for a second, because I'm super disappointed in this noise level test. Here's what's happening. The noise, the ambient sound in my studio here is higher than the sound coming out of the DJI Power 2000. So the only way I can really hear it is if I am right next to it. As soon as I move 3 or 4 feet away, it's almost impossible to get a reading around that 30 decibel mark. Now let's do a recharge test. And what I want to measure here is, first, how long does it take to charge from 0 to 100%. Second, I want to see what is the maximum input I get from the wall. There is a hard switch here that will give me maximum charging on the top with the 2 electricity bolts, and then it will have a reduced charging on the bottom with 1 electricity. And what I mean by electricity bolt is, of course, lightning bolt. And if you want to recharge this video, give it a thumbs up. The display is actually not very bad. Very clear to see out in the sunlight, and it has pretty much all of the information I'd like to see. Over here on the top, it shows me that I'm charging. Down here, these bars also indicate that I'm charging as well. Shows me that I'll have about 89 minutes remaining until a 100% state of charge. Gives me input wattage, and of course, if I had any outlets in use, it would tell me output wattage. Topping off the Power 2000 took 96 minutes, 2,280 watt hours of power, or just about a 10% penalty over the battery's rated capacity. So what's the final verdict on the DJI Power 2000? It's a powerful, premium, incredibly polished unit. The good, performance is flawless, and its 3,000 watt AC output is best in class. And more importantly, it handled everything I threw at it. The downside is that you're getting about 81% of the rated capacity, which is the industry standard, but it's something you'll need to plan for. And my only true gripe is I wish it had more than 2 of these SDC ports, especially since you can daisy chain up to 10 expansion batteries for a combined total of over 22,500 watt hours of power. That's a lot of power. Ultimately, if you're a creative pro or a serious camper who needs silent, reliable power, this is a top tier choice. It really is a silent generator killer. But that's just my take. What do you guys think? Is the build quality worth the premium price tag? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.